Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest narration, the web series The Human from a Dungeon. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 90.5, Nash Altar, Adventurer Level 11, Orc Nulavan. With a deep breath, I steeled myself and gathered my courage. The last time I'd felt this nervous walking into the Adventurers Guild was the first time I'd done so. But back then, I didn't have an angry woman to worry about. How could I have been so damned dumb? I had a plan and everything. I was going to give her a 16-inch hunting knife with an engraving of the symbols of lump on it, then take her on a date. But something just came over me when I'd heard my new level. Greed, probably. I wanted it right then and there. The howls was working for it. I convinced myself that it was a romantic notion, but she cut through all the bullshit, even without the knife. Her words had cut me to the bone, and I'd never felt so unworthy of someone in my entire life. Part of me wanted to just go back home to let a better orc than I try to win her heart. This part of me whispered that she deserved someone better, but I knew what it really was: cowardice. The thought of facing up to what I had done seemed like an insurmountable wall. But Nima had decided to give me a second chance, and my mother didn't raise a quitter. I straightened my posture and stepped into the guild hall with my chin held high. It fell silent as every single eye in the place turned to watch me. This didn't faze me, though. I'd been getting these kinds of looks all morning. Word travels fast in the village. And I'd be surprised if there was a single person who didn't know that I'd made a damn fool out of myself last night. Nima stood behind her counter, and the orc she was helping gracefully stepped aside as I approached. I nodded at him with appreciation. "Good morning, Nima," I said. "Is this a good time?" She glanced at the bouquet of flowers I'd bought and gave it a little smile, making my heart flutter. "Just fill out those forms and leave them on the counter when you're done," she said to the orc who she had been helping. "Hello, Nash. It's a good time as any." "These are for you," I said, passing the flowers over the counter. "Thank you, that's so sweet. Just like the ones in the flower crown that you made me when we were kids." I had completely forgotten about that, but nodded anyway, happy for the lucky coincidence. As she found a vase full of flowers, I grabbed her next gift from my belt and placed it on the counter. She turned back to me and raised an eyebrow at the knife. "Open it," I said with a solemn expression. She withdrew the 16-inch blade from its sheath and gasped. My original idea was to have it engraved with symbols promising eternal love and devotion. However, after my feck up last night, I decided to go with a different, much riskier approach. "This is," she trailed off. "When we were kids, your dad gave you a knife," I explained. "Then he left and never came back." A slight chill entered her voice. "Yeah, I remember how sad you were that he left," I said, gathering my courage. "I remember holding you when you cried for him. I remember wishing with all of my might that I could take that pain away from you. And how I would have given anything to see you happy again. And I remember how utterly devastated you were when the knife he gave you broke." She placed the blade on its sheath and looked at me, tears of anguish waiting behind the facade of anger and confusion. "I know there are many ways that you could interpret this, but to me, the knife breaking was symbolic of the promise he broke by not returning. You threw it away a few months later, symbolizing throwing away your relationship with him. But I found that broken blade and kept it safe in case you ever changed your mind. This morning I went to a smith and bought their best, most durable hunting knife and had it engraved with the same markings that were on your father's blade." "Why?" she asked. "Because I'm making the very same promise to you that he did. Whenever I leave, I will return, and the knife I'm giving you won't break, just like my promise won't. It is my pledge of everlasting love and care for you, Nima." Tears streamed down her cheeks as she grabbed a handkerchief to dab them. We stood in silence for a few moments as she regained her composure. Much to my relief, the anger and pain had left her expression. "God damn it, Nash," she said. "Why couldn't you have been this romantic last night?" "'Cause I'm a big dumb orc," I chuckled. "Speaking of last night, though, I got you something else." I opened my coin pouch and pulled out a small box. Nima gently took the box and opened it, revealing a pendant with an enchanted gemstone. She held it up to the light. The gem was deep blue in the center, gradually progressing to green on the outer edges, just like her eyes.
But how? She asked.
Well, I've been on the lookout for jewelry that matches your eyes, but haven't had any luck finding anything nearly as beautiful. So I got this gem enchanted, I explained. It's not quite as magnificent as your eyes are, but I hope that it's close enough to serve as an apology for last night.
I thought that's what the flowers were for.
I didn't think the flowers fully express how sorry I am for how dumb I was.
She let out a laugh that melted my heart in ways that the most beautiful birdsong could never hope to accomplish. Then she turned around and lifted her hair so that I could put the pendant on. I had to stand on my toes to do so, but I managed to reach over the counter and clasp the chain without strangling her. She turned to face me, the beautiful gemstone resting on the top of her bountiful breasts. I gave it an appreciative glance and returned my attention to the gemstone's inspiration. The tears had gone from her eyes, then a warm expression greeted me. I couldn't help but smile.
Lady Maxim, would you do me the honor of accompanying me? I asked, a lump forming in my throat.
No, Nash. The lump in my throat threatened to suffocate me as she paused. Everyone else in the guild seemed to hold their breath, awaiting a reply. She gently grabbed the pendant and bit her lip, then looked back at me. Of course I will. The guild hall erupted in cheers as she stepped around the counter and took my arm.
End of chapter. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, Jon Creighton, W.R.E, 050, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.